Hi, Robin. Thanks for watching. So in this video, I just want to quickly go over exactly what it takes to rank a website in the search results. I'm going to show you both on the page and we do behind the scenes. And then also I'm going to use a couple other websites to compare. So when I do ballroom dancing near me, obviously I'm located in Rhode Island, so it pulls up a couple different. However, Arthur Murray Dance Lessons, that guy with the 9 studios is still up there, and there is a Fred Astaire. So I'm going to use the other Arthur Murray site for comparison, and then also the Fred Astaire Warwick location is probably the one closest to you. It's probably a little closer than the Smithfield one, but I'm just going to use these two as a quick comparison. So I take all three of these sites and I put them into this tool that I use, and it shows me all the information that Google finds when it crawls your site that it uses to determine your position in the search results, and then rates its strength and trust on a scale of 1 to 100. So just briefly, you can see some of the other numbers, why these websites are ranking on the first page. But let me just go through briefly on what these numbers mean and then how we can improve yours so we can get your website ranking. So when Google is determining in what order to rank a website, it uses two factors. The first is what's called the authority or trust that it has in your site. Now this basically boils down to a popularity contest because this authority is gained when other domains or websites refer back to yours and then they create a link. Now this acts as an endorsement that Google uses to build trust because others are vouching for you. So to give you a quick example, say if the local news station did an article on their website and it said the top 10 best dance studios in Massachusetts. And in that article, the reader could click on a link and that link would bring them to your website. That's considered one backlink from one referring domain. Now you can get a lot of different types of links, anywhere from blogs and guest posts, editorials, press releases, directory sites. However, one very important type is what's called a citation. Now, a citation is any time that your name, address, and phone number appear in an online directory. Those include Yelp, Yellow Pages, Better Business Bureau. Most of these directories are free. It just takes some time to find them, register your business, and input the information exactly as it's shown in Google. So quickly looking over some of these others, you can see how much trust and authority is being built based on the number of links that they have created from other websites. But there is something to note here is it's not just a matter of the sheer quantity of these links. It also has a lot to do with the quality. So certain websites that you link to are not as trustworthy, spammy, especially ones that are outside the United States. But we definitely want to be finding websites that are relative to your industry to link back to. So that way Google can see that and then it'll also transfer that trust through the link to your website. Now, the second factor for ranking is the actual content that's on your page. So we can see here that Google is picking up about 113 different keywords on your site. So this is the word or phrase is being typed into Google search, and it also shows me the volume, the number of times per month they're being searched. Now, the way that this works is some of these are found directly on your website. Other ones Google kind of pieces together. So Arthur Murray Dance Centers, Center, and Studios. You might not have all three of these on your site, but Google understands that you are an Arthur Murray, you do dancing, and then a variation of what people are searching for. So it adds these keywords for you because they are relevant to you, and it determines that based on its algorithm. So the point here is to try to find all the highest volume keywords relative to the services that you're offering and the areas you're offering them in, and trying to make sure that those are prominently displayed on the web page so that way Google can pick them up. Now, as I'm looking through here, I just sorted these based on the volume. The majority of them are Arthur Murray related or East Bay. Then we get down here, we do have dance lessons in Rhode Island being searched 60 times, ballroom dance in Rhode Island. We start to get into actual keywords from people searching for services. This is probably where a lot of my keyword research is going to come into play, both looking at the competitors' websites to see what kind of search volume that they're getting, as well as just doing general keyword searches to find out what people exactly are searching for when it comes to dance lessons and making sure that those are being found on the page. Now, there is a formula that Google uses to find these on the site. So if we take a look at here, The very first thing that I want to mention is the site is not secure, which means it doesn't have what's called the SSL certificate. That's pretty important because when Google sees that a site is not secure, it automatically becomes less trustworthy. Also, what happens is when a lot of people go to your site, if they do find your website directly, this is what they're going to see. Your connection is not private because their web browser is determining that you do not have a safe site because you don't have that valid certificate. So then it looks like the only option they have to do is click back to safety, when actually in order to continue to your site, they have to click advanced and then another button down at the bottom that says continue to site at your own risk. So you'll lose a lot of traffic right here because people just say, okay, I got to go back to safety, and they never actually get to your site. Now, we already talked about the layout. Obviously these margins, when you look at, other sites, these are full page to page, a little bit more up to date. Um, but the biggest thing that we're going to have to battle here is actually the amount of content on the page. Because as far as Google is concerned, despite how, maybe older build it is or whatnot, or what the layout is, being a computer, the first thing it's going to do is just come in here and count all the words and text on the page. Now, generally, we try to shoot for a minimum of about 1,500 words on a home page because the more information that's on the page, the more Google assumes that you're an expert, and then the more likely it is to recommend you. Now, while it's counting all the words, it's also searching for those keywords, so any of your services and the locations. Now, this is where the number of words on the page really comes into play because you're only allowed to have one of those keywords for about every 100 to 150 words of text on the page. So the more keywords that we want to be found for means the more content that we have to add to the page. And then furthermore, in order for a keyword to be picked up, the 100 to 150 words of supporting text has to be relative to and describing that particular keyword. So we can't just sprinkle them out throughout a paragraph randomly. We need to have each of them being described and backed up by that content for them to be qualified in the eyes of Google. It used to be that you could just list services and list locations and Google would pick you up for everything. However, now it's really switching to the algorithm and the computers actually read your content. And if it's not relative to the keyword, it is harder to pick it up because it assumes that you're not talking about this specific word or phrase. So we need to be very specific about that. So this is where once I get done with the keyword research, we're really going to have to kind of revamp this page a little bit to add some more content on the home page and then probably also on some of the lessons pages so that way we can attract different dances, different keywords that people are being searched for. So for instance, dances we teach, if we look at this page here, they've got all the different dances you can click on, and then as you do click on one, it becomes its own page, and then this entire page is talking about that style of dance. So that way when somebody is searching for, say, swing dance, this page will be extremely relevant to their search results because the entire page is dedicated to swing dancing, and it'll be easier for the website to rank. And if you look at this, their very first header has a keyword phrase in it, Boston dancing lessons. I guarantee that that's a pretty high volume keyword phrase. So this is where putting a keyword in the header is very important, and then also having some keywords in the body of the text. So there's a few different things that we need to do on the page to help increase your ability to rank and be found for those keywords before we start doing the back end work. Because what has to happen is as we're building these links have to point to a specific keyword on a specific page. So for instance, if we want to try to rank you for wedding dancing, then or wedding dances or wedding dance lessons, whatever the variations might be, we want to make sure that we have links being built to this page and to these specific keywords on the page. We just need to make sure we have enough content to qualify those keywords to be able to have the links point to them. Now, this is going to help you out in what's down here, what we call the organic search results. Up at the top here in the map pack, this is a little bit more location based compared to wherever they're searching from. However, this has to do with your Google business profile, not your website. Now, your Google business profile, you do have one, but in order to optimize that, we need to add some more pictures, get some more reviews, fill out as much information as possible, including, in your 750 character description, you're allowed to put some keywords in there. The pictures, we geolocate them, we actually tag them with a longitude and latitude so Google can understand where they're taken from and it can understand your service area. And then this is also where we want to get as many of those citations as possible. Your name, address, and phone number. You want to appear in more directories than anybody else on this list. And then Google rewards activity. So we want to be posting to your profile, doing updates, adding pictures, at least on a weekly basis. This isn't like social media where it has to get done daily. This is something if you do weekly, you'd be plenty enough content, plenty enough frequency. It's just Google needs to see that you're actively working on this. So for instance, we look at Fred Astaire. They've got 38 photos, so we'd want to have more than 38 photos. I don't know if we have, well, let's see what Warwick has. 130 photos. So you can see, they've obviously been working on this for a long time, but this is how you slowly build up. You are in here. How you slowly build up your ranking in this map section. However, that is completely separate. Like I said, that's your Google business profile. That is completely separate from these listings, which is the organic search results. This is the authority of your website. So all these links and referring domains that come back to keywords, that all has to do with your ranking here. But the first step is making sure we get the right content on the page. So I'm going to do some research on my end, find some of those keywords. Then we'll have to talk to the web designer, your student, to see how they feel or how comfortable they are to be able to add not just some content, but maybe a couple pages on here. We can kind of split these off, maybe add some more pages for different types of dances, things like that, just so we can try to be as relevant as possible and have a little bit more content on the total page as well as individual pages, so we can get more of those keywords on there for you to be found for. Feel free to get back to me whenever you can, and then we'll reconnect with the results of the research that I found for keywords, figure out how much content has to be added to qualify those keywords, and then we can kind of take it from there. Appreciate it.